Painting with Menoth John is presented in Super Legitivision. Super Legitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is...
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Sunday night, and that means that it must be just about all right to be here on Twitch. You know, literally every other Twitch stream happening right now is a complete shit show with the worst chat rooms in recorded history, but not this one, folks. Bitches, this is the Sunday night extravaganza here at Painting with Menoth John. I'm Menoth John, up in the catbird seat. Not with us tonight is John Spencer because his computer took a dump all over the universe. But with us is, of course, our mascot, the Irrational Gonzo.
Hey!
And you know him, you love him. He is the GM with the most from the Beermachine podcast, Mr. Dan Vanderkoy.
How you doing, folks?
We are living the dream, folks. You know, DVK, it is a real honor to have you on the show. It was not only until yesterday that we knew you were going to be on the show.
Oh, it is my pleasure. And yeah, a little bit of short notice, but luckily I do two things, work and play War Machine.
Outstanding.
So you know how much I work.
Outstanding. So the reason we have you on here this week, DVK, is that you are a much more dedicated Cygnar player than I am. And by saying that, I mean that you play Cygnar and I don't. So we are super happy to have you on here because some very dramatic shit happened on the internet here in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah. People are freaking out. Not entirely certain why, but that's what happens. It's the internet and it's wargaming.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Exactly. So what we're talking about here, folks, is the CID process that our good friends over at Privateer Press are doing. Right now, Will Pagani is in his office right now. He's taking the vitamins. He's drinking the coffee. He's doing everything he needs to do to give us the best game he possibly can. And we're going to talk about the community integrated development. Let's see. This is week 1 version 3.pdf if you want to play along at home. But we are going to be bringing this up on the screen for your listening and viewing pleasure.
Listening to a PDF? Shit, we got that new metric system going right, huh?
Well, that's metric video and audio. You know, you can listen to video and you can see audio when you're doing metric. And, you know, we have to thank our good friends in Europe for that one. But on a serious tip, folks, here, just a second, when I was a kid, Batman the TV series was kind of the shit. And it had run its course by the time I was born. Just barely. I think it stopped in 1968. Is that a fair statement? Does anybody know?
Off the top of my head, no.
If John Spencer was here, he'd know, but he's not here, so we don't have any fucking idea. We'll say it's 1968 because we can't be bothered looking up details.
68.
1968. So Adam West, who was Batman, passed away to the Batcave in the sky this week. And let me tell you, that guy wore purple leotards better than just about anybody. And so he was a cool guy. He went on to doing further voice work for, was it Family Guy and some other stuff. And Adam passed away at the ripe old age of 88. It was a good run. and always seemed to be, from everyone that I've seen comments on, some people who've actually met him at conventions and things like that. Sounds like he was a real gentleman. So on behalf of the Painting with Menoth John Sunday Night Experience, Adam, this one's for you. Hey, Batman.
Hey, Batman.
You know, before we get too far into the show, we are want to mention what it is that we are drinking. I'm starting off with a little bit of the Crown Royal Maple, which we've already established is not sortilege, and then I'm switching over to Piggly Wiggly water, because if you're going to drink water, make sure that you're drinking water out of a bottle brazen with the logo of Porky Pig wearing a butcher hat, because there's nothing disturbing about that at all. What about you, Gonzo? What are you having for tonight?
Well, my shot was Maker's Mark, of course, and I had a good old friend of mine over yesterday. He said, I'm just going to leave all this Shinerbach for you. And I'm like, free beer's free beer. So I'm Shinerbaching tonight.
Well, good for you. Shinerbach is a thing. Good for you. What about you, Dan? What are you having for this evening?
I have a brand new bottle of Kraken.
Oh, shit. I have no Kraken in the house.
That I am having with orange juice.
Oh, so you are making what is known as a force blow. This is an actual...
Force blow, that's what it is.
That is an actual drink that we invented here on the Painting with Menoth John Sunday Night Extravaganza. And so if you put 2 fingers of Kraken in there, of course you have to have ice in it before you do that. You have to put the 2 fingers in, and then you put... That's a goodly amount. It's like a bigly amount, but slightly less. And then you add orange juice to it. That is a force blow. And so congratulations, you are having one of the official drinks of this podcast.
Excellent. So normally, because I've had this before, normally I add a little bit of grenadine. I didn't know that it was a drink for the show. Rich told me, actually, when I was mentioning it to him. And I normally put a little bit of grenadine in here.
Nice.
But I only had a little left.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not sure what the grenadine would be. Would you call that a bloody blow then? Or a
Cadoran force blow?
A Cadoran force blow. I like that. I like that a lot. Where do you sit on that, Gonzo, as our official naysayer?
I would say Cadoran Force Blow.
Cadoran Force Blow. So, folks, if you're updating your beverage ticket at home, the beverage card that came in your Painting with Menoth John official membership papers, you would insert the Cadoran Force Blow right below the Force Blow, but long before the Mind Probe, or whatever the fuck that thing was that had the hard ginger ale and Kraken. That shit was deadly. Don't ever recommend going back to that one. So, we have a little bit of business to talk about tonight. Once again, folks, keep in mind, JohnCon 2017 coming to a Racine near you. It is coming up the September 8th, 9th, and 10th at the Moose Lodge. We have confirmed that we will be having Mr. Rich Brotman from the Beermachine podcast live in full 3D. He will be doing the he'll be doing the whole con thing, but on Friday night we will be having a beer tasting and coffee tasting. I have secured some fabulous reserve coffees that I will be brewing up in my Chemex, and we will be having some fine beers that Rich and I will probably discover at Tenuta's Market in Kenosha. The show, by the way, is not sponsored by Tenuta's. We just like their beer selection. So there you go. Also, might bring some spicy some spicy meats from there as well. So they have what the hell is that shit called that the Italians like so much? Prosciutto. Yeah, that's it. Prosciutto. So they got some spicy fucking prosciutto, bitches, and we'll probably have some of that. And we'll be doing coffee tasting and beer tasting on Saturday night. Sunday night, it's literally anything could happen. I have no fucking idea. But we're gonna be getting some signups going on here pretty soon. I have to use internets to make that happen. But we'll have a GoFundMe as well so that you can do that. And we're gonna try and shoot for $1,500. We're gonna try and double up from JohnCon #1. That's a bold move on our part, but we're gonna give her one hell of a try. What do you think our chances are, DVK?
I think they're pretty good.
All right, I mean,
who can resist you when it comes to, your promotional skills, John?
Oh, I tell you what, we pimp it harder than anybody ought than Upgrade did in Idiocracy. Because when you want a double dose of my charity pimpin', you come to John Con 2017. Anyway, so there you go. Also, if you enjoy this show, one way to continue to enjoy the show is to support the show. And get on over here to patreon.com/menothjohn. Keeps the lights on. We realize this is a time of the year. There's a lot of hardship out there for people. And where you spend your money is absolutely up to you. But we would appreciate it if you would consider watching this show each Sunday night worth one latte a month. That's what we're up to. $1 per week, which is one latte a month, will get you, you'll be supporting the show, and you'll get the pre-ramble delivered to you via Patreon to help support your emotional needs on whatever day I put it up. And then also, if you go $2, we're going to send you a magnet that will allow you to advertise for the show on your car without, fucking up your paint, because that's no fucking bueno at all. And then we'll also, at the $2 level, you're going to get Co-Host Corner. Co-Host Corner's probably some of the 45 of the best recorded minutes since Edison invented recording shit. And it happens once a week. I've got so many of them backed up, I don't even know when I'm going to publish them. But they're going to come at you if we're at the $2 level. And then also, at the $5 level, you get to design an episode. You can tell us what the subject matter is you'd like us to do. We might not even be good at talking about whatever subject you come up with, but we'll make it up. Gonzo, we'll do a good enough job, won't we?
I'm good enough to bullshit anything.
Fuck yeah, we can talk about stuff at any length. We'll do some nuclear physics. We'll talk about how to bring the Middle East together into a harmony, but we'll talk about it on the show if you want to. $5 an episode, and then at the $10 level, I'll probably just name a kid after you or something. But I can't have children anymore, so yeah, I can't have kids anymore, so it's fine. I'll name my first.
Yeah.
Oh, I already have a firstborn. My thirdborn. There you go. Anyway, so that's patreon.com/menothjohn. Get on over there. Please help support the show. It takes a village. Anyway, so I think at this point, DVK, what do you think? Should we launch into talking about this CID?
Sounds good to me. I'm all set to go.
Okay, let's see if I can't fuck this up by using technology. Oh, look, there we are. So
there we go.
Here we go, guys.
What?
I know. I didn't suck as hard as I thought I would.
It's in 3D too.
It's in 4D. I'm just holding one. I'm holding 1D back for me later on. Anyway, so
don't hold the D back.
all right.
Sorry, dinner is here.
Nice. MJ, Al Gore invented recording shit. That is actually a true statement of fact. I just feel privileged to use his tubes. Now, before we get too far into the show, DVK, you just did something very awesome with your face. And that was you curled your very majestic mustache. And earlier before the show,
yes,
during the much vaunted pre-ramble, which is only available at the $1 level over at Patreon, you were talking about, we had a question about how to have a majestic mustache and not have it full of paint, because Side Hustle Seth wants to know.
All right, so when growing a mustache, a handlebar mustache, you have one of two choices. You can either grow it out like I do, where it all grows out from the center and goes out to the edges. As you can see here, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. I mean, if I pull this sucker straight down,
yeah. Okay.
I got some growth on it.
Yep.
So when that happens, you can pull it to the sides, and it mostly stays out of your mouth. And therefore mostly stays away from the paint. The trick is to go under the mustache with the brush if you're a paint licker.
Got it. Now, do you use product in your mustache?
I do if I'm styling it. Right now, no, this is au natural. After a while, doing this all day, every day, the hair just kind of starts doing that.
Got it. Right
now it's full of Kraken and orange juice, because there is no way, once you have a mustache like this, to drink from an open glass safely.
Affirmative. So now, if you were to use a product in said majestic mustache, what would be the best product to use in something like that?
It depends on what type of hair you have.
Okay.
If you have really coarse boar bristle hair like I do, for your mustache, I use something called Fireman.
Okay.
It's a medium weight wax. If you have really fine hair and you got the creeper stash going before it gets into the full handlebar here,
Yeah.
a little thin and wispy till it all comes in,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to want to use something called Clubman, which is a soft wax.
Got it.
And those are both pretty easy to find.
Congo the
You
Jorga
might-
Man recommends the blood of your enemies. How do you stand on the blood of your enemies?
Pretty good. The problem is it's a little heavy, so it weighs it down. You get less curl out of it.
There you go. Very nice. Very nice. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about on the show tonight. There's probably less painting than normal, which is hard to believe, but there's going to be less painting than normal on this one, in that I probably won't paint at all. But what we are going to talk about are the CID, which is ostensibly about the trenchers, but there's also some other good stuff in here related to Cray and Siege and some jacks and shit like that. So why don't we go ahead and I know that DVK, you haven't had a lot of time to go over this particular CID, but perhaps we can kind of talk a little bit about this, what you see as different from what you remember the caster being in today's Mark III universe, and then give us your perspective on where you think he's improved or been made more mediocre. Okay.
All right, so I don't think they've made any changes to Cray at this time. There's a number of things in the CID that they haven't adjusted yet, and I think they just included them to encourage people to play them in CID with the other things they have made changes to.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any, and obviously, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not seeing anything in here on Cray that's changed since his normal Mark III.
So in Mark III, do both lights and heavies both get reposition 5?
I believe so.
Okay. And
Yeah, it used to be split. Used to be reposition 3 for heavies.
right, but now they're both 5s.
Yeah.
Okay. And he used to have didn't he used to have a speed buff for his jacks? Or am I getting confused with the toilet?
I think you're confused. You may be confused with the toilet. He used to have a spell in Mark II. He had a spell where all of his jacks would fire.
Oh, okay. So this is, as far as we know, Cray so far hasn't gone cray. See what I did there?
Hey.
I'm very hip like all the kids these days. And so nothing new here, but let's move on to the Grenadier.
Yeah. So the Grenadier also, I'm not seeing any changes to him. He is still as excellent and underrated as he has always been, especially with that lovely POW 13 cannon.
So tell me how it's fair, if you could, DVK, that a defense 14 jack with advanced deployment gets to dig in as a special action.
Oh, it's not. I mean, especially when you especially when it's your most forward piece, because it is advanced deployment.
With a range 10 gun, by the way. That's an
Sorry?
AoE 3 and a POW 13.
Yeah. Yeah, POW 13, AoE 3,
In 2 shots.
advanced deployment. If you're playing him with Cray, put Bullet Dodger on him and have him dig in.
Dear God, have mercy. So he's defense 20 at that point?
Cool. Well, at that point, you see, dig in gives it. Yes.
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 Oh, man.
The answer is it's not fair. And that's why I play Cygnar.
Yeah. So he is a AD broken ass as the day is long. Rat 6 because why not? And
Yeah, well, that's standard
Cygnar.
for Cygnar. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So,
I mean, come on, we practically designed the whole Warjack concept.
so here you go. Now, that's awesome. And so here we have our first change in the CID, and this is the Hunter. The Hunter.
Everybody panic.
everybody all of a sudden the hunter sucked and will never play it again. It still has extended control range, which is wrong and terrible, and but it lost its advanced deployment. Now it can't, literally be half a mile across the table on turn 1 and not give a damn.
Now, the problem that I have with losing advanced deployment as a Cygnar player, I wouldn't say problem,
Okay.
because I think drop it by a point, pull advanced deployment off it, perfectly fine, very fair. But the problem that I'm going to run into in using this is where the heck am I going to put this hunter? I am so used to, at this point, putting him in front of the rest of my army so I don't need to worry about him. Where in my Sloan list am I going to fit all 6 of them?
Just on the line?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to learn how to deploy like an Amon player, I guess. So obviously you're going to have to one's going to have to stand a whole half an inch behind the other ones, as you're going to have to like nest them together.
I did like that Pagani did give a reason why they took away AD.
And what was his reasoning, Gonzo, just so everybody knows?
The reason was because they didn't want people to be able to shoot the other opponent before their turn even got started, pretty much.
And that is a very good reason.
Yes.
Yeah,
Says that's not what they intended. That's not what they wanted. So, and I agree with that. I don't want to play a game where I start to play and I don't even get to do anything, and I've already lost few models before I even got to move my models.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely the case. I mean, Mark II was predicated on the basis that you couldn't nab something off the front line of the deployment zone so that person never got a chance to play with their toys even a little bit. Yeah. And Mark III, unfortunately, there was enough new things introduced to the game at that point that some of those corner cases started to show up again.
Yeah. Was it Veil 1 was another one that did that? Still does, I think?
I think so. There's one of the Veils that in Rumble is an auto win of the game because it can park all of its beasts on the deployment zone close enough together that nobody can advance onto the table.
Yeah.
That's just, we're going to put that out there right now. That's bad for the game, and it's not okay.
Yeah. Well, and also with stripping AD off of the hunter so it can't fire before the game's really begun, that's also, in line with the concept of the game. With any miniature war game, the size of the table is supposed to be the maximum engagement distance. If you can engage your opponent while you have just deployed, then they need to expand the table.
Yeah.
Otherwise, someone's doing something wrong. It's better to just get rid of it. And honestly, it's not going to hurt the hunter significantly.
It's still the same beast it was before as far as being able to reach out 14 inches and deliver a POW 6 armor-piercing shot. It's still a good boostable armor-piercing shot, which when you're a POW 6 you need to be in order to be something viable. Did it used to be POW 7? Or am I remembering incorrectly?
It was a higher POW at some point in Mark II, I believe.
Okay.
I don't remember if they lowered it for Mark III or if they lowered it in Mark II.
I think it must have dropped a POW as it came into Mark III because I thought I remember it being a POW 7. And
yeah,
I actually wouldn't be against it getting that POW 7 back with this change, to be honest.
I would. I mean, hold on. I'm sorry. No, we need it. But going from 6 to 7 can make a difference for whether you're able to consistently hurt higher armed targets.
Yeah.
The hunter is. I just don't want to see. I don't want to see the hunter being able to really do significant damage just with 1 or 2 hunters against Khador heavies, just as a baseline. Just because then it's going to go away.
So let me ask you a question. Where does this Jack fit its niche compared to a Charger?
I think that's actually while it's not something they are overtly testing in the CID, I really get the feeling that they're pushing the Charger.
Okay.
Seeing how it ranks up against other targets. I mean, you see it later in some of the other models that seem to be fit very nicely for using a charger. But the hunter works. The reason why you would take a hunter instead of a charger is that range. That extra 2 inches makes a big difference. Even when you put snipe on.
And the extended control range is a big deal.
Yes, extended control range is a big deal, and that armor piercing is a big deal. You're hitting different targets with armor piercing compared to boosted POW 12s.
How does armor piercing work again in Mark III? Because I haven't been playing factions that have it. Is it a straight halving of armor across the board now, or do they still the funky mediums and larges are different than smalls?
It is across the board. There is nothing different about base size.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, and I don't want to spend the whole show doing Hunter the podcast. God, that sounded like a White Wolf game. Hunter the podcast.
Just let it die in obscurity.
So if armor piercing across the board is having it, how is this not just a boosted POW 12?
Consistency, I guess.
Okay.
Also, it's
I don't know.
I'm kind of curious to look at the spread on that.
It's a tough call. So, I mean, maybe somebody who's better at math could tell me what the difference is, but that's fine. Well, I'm just kind of curious. I think the extended control range is a huge ass deal, especially if you want to put one of these bad boys on a junior. It makes a big deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or again, going back to Sloan, getting firing angles with extended control range so much easier.
Yeah, sounds good. Any perspective on this one, Gonzo?
I actually kind of like that. The reason why they got rid of the AD was because of that reason. It's still a solid jack. Still giving an extended control range lets your Focus 6 casters able to still take full advantage of it. Excuse me. I actually don't have a problem with this. I used to play Cygnar. I don't see any big issues with it doing that. It's still a powerful jack. Still cheap for Cygnar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think it's a good solid. I don't see any major issues I see with that right now.
Cool. Let's move on because Lord knows we got plenty of other crap to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Long gunner infantry
are definitely being tested in the CID.
And these have changed in what way from their predecessor?
I'm not seeing any changes in Mark III for this one.
Okay.
I may be missing something as usual. Because I tend to focus on the rules that I use, not all of the rules that are available.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not seeing any differences. They're just as badass, yet overcosted as usual. Not overcosted for what they do, but overcosted for how they're used in Cygnar.
So I still think in Mark II points. So I look at these guys as a 5.8 with as a POW, a range 14, POW 10. I mean, their closest comparison is the Retribution House Guard Rifleman, and they seem just really good.
I mean, the ability to do dual shot makes them stupid good, because if you go first, you're going to run your first turn, and when you start your next turn, you're just going to stand still, aim, and shoot pretty much whatever you want twice.
Yeah. Yep. And
then if you scroll down to the officer, you can see why they are particularly good in Mark III is trained fire, where they get boosted attack rolls with an 8.
Yep, and that is the opposite. It's like the inverted version of what happens for the mini feat for the rifleman for Retribution. When you're within 8 inches, you get a boosted damage roll within 8 inches. So these guys are like are slightly different versions of the House Guard Rifleman in many respects. But the reposition 5 is a huge deal.
Yes. Yeah, reposition 5 is a huge deal. Once a game, it can really save you when it comes to really it makes the unit more forgiving to use. you miss position, you really mess it up, you can pull yourself back a little bit. Using it tactically, as much as I would like 5 inches, to matter, 5 inches is a huge distance in the game. I've just never seen someone using long gunners on the table and that reposition making a difference in the game beyond saving the unit.
Fair enough.
I've never seen them take an objective because of it or anything like that.
Well, with 2017, you walk up, shoot, reposition 5, take the zone, or contest the zone.
Fair.
Which I could see it being used more as that, is to walk up, shoot, then get into the zone to contest and put a bunch of models in the contesting area.
Yeah. Well, and again, so practice maneuvers is also very useful. That's fantastic for them because you no longer have to stagger them like you used to in Mark II.
Yep. And once again, I think it's bringing the long gunners in more alignment with the house guard riflemen, which I think it's hard to figure out what the real difference is between the riflemen and these guys at this point. I mean, I
wait till you see the trencher ones then.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to the trencher infantry, and here they are. This is public enemy number 1, the trencher infantry.
They're finally good, John.
I know.
In Mark III, they're finally good.
Which means they need to be eroded into non-existence again.
No.
Fuck those
they're doing
guys.
the right thing here. They're adding more solos to them. That's everything we need.
Okay, so here we go. So they're 5'8", which is bullshit because you will have 75 points of trenchers in your list moving forward, and there'll be 1 unit and all the other solos, and it'll add up to 75 points. They have advanced deploy, they have assault, they have CRA, they have tough, dig in, and smoke bombs. Jesus Christ!
I love these models.
Don't forget brutal charge on their bayonet.
Sorry, brutal charge on the bayonets. So they become POW 11 chargers. So
yeah, so they double tap POW 11 on the charge between assault and brutal charge.
Indeed.
As a previous Cygnar player, I would play the hell out of these guys.
Oh yeah, I got into Cygnar because of the trenchers. Because I was looking and I'm like, oh, look at these cute little World War I blokes.
Yep.
Also to note that there was a rule change to assault that they're going to be making available, that if an assault attack misses its target and the target is melee with the target, you do not reroll the attack against any other model.
Oh.
It just misses completely.
Say that again.
If an assault attack misses its target and the attacker is in melee with the target, do not reroll the attack against another model. It misses completely. So if you go into assault and you're in melee with, 2 models, and you miss, you don't re-roll to hit anybody else, even like your own guy or your other guys next to you. You just miss.
So your assault shot. So like, let's say it's an AOE, or is that specifically for the assault shot, not the charge attack?
It says for the assault attack only.
Okay.
But you could. I mean, okay, maybe I've been playing this rule wrong all this time. But I thought when you assaulted against a single target, and if you missed with your assault ranged attack, then that ranged attack was over with.
No.
Really?
Now it completely says that you definitely do not reroll. It just misses completely.
Yeah, I used to play that the way John did, but I also would assault into a unit that's already engaged pretty frequently.
Correct. Yeah, that was old Mark II, and I used to do that a lot on Trollkin Fire Eaters. Oh, I assault. I didn't move any, but I still fire breathed all over you. And now you can't do that.
Okay, well, once again, further evidence that I have no idea what I'm doing with this game.
Perfect.
So there's your base trenchers, and they're abusive and horrible. Probably very similar. I think these guys read, at least on paper, very similar to the Idrian skirmishers with smoke bombs.
I agree with that.
With smoke bombs. Okay.
I mean, defense 13 is good. A rat 6, max 6 is great. Point cost is good. I could see we have a local player that's been dying to play trenchers, and this right here just says, "Yep, we're gonna do it all."
Okay, so then we add the officer and sniper.
Yes.
And so this is the officer is all the same shit that we just heard about. Then we have an order called cautious advance, and where each effective model must take a full advance as its normal movement and perform the dig in special action, then can make a normal ranged attack as in combat action. So in other words, they get their dig in for free.
Pretty much.
It's great.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Love it.
This is where the comparison between the trenchers and the Idrians leaves the table. Idrians get to do that once per game. They get to dig in. These guys just like, fuck it. I'm just going to walk up and dig in and do it again.
Yeah, and then you have Into the Breach, where the trenchers essentially fly away into another game store compared to the Idrians. Like where once a game, they can mini feet, and they charge and drop smoke bombs before they move.
Yep.
So they leave the smoke bombs back where they were, and they charge forward. So essentially, the only thing at risk is the trenchers that just charged.
Yeah, Angry Squid Inks.
Yep, Cloud Wall, which is going to be, you're probably going to see it a lot more because getting the other models up with range attacks being so popular.
Yeah.
You're just going to like throw the smoke, move up. All right, this unit may die, but all the guys behind me are just fine.
Yeah, they're just fine.
And combine that with assault, and you have a pretty solid way to screen your army while trying to take a zone.
Yep. Fair and balanced. Let's see. Then we move on to the sniper. All the same nonsense from above. Instead of making a damage roll to resolve the range attack, the model can inflict a damage point. So if you've got a particular high armor thing that's a single point, you just take care of it.
Yeah, or just give me another trencher and stop making me think. All I want is more stabbing.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go. So let's see. Because this model is an officer, when it is destroyed, it does not replace a grunt in its unit. Instead, the unit leader becomes unit commander and Jack Marshal. This is a Jack Marshal?
Yes.
Of course it is. Because that's why they have Grenadiers.
It's Cygnar. Hello.
Yep. So there you go.
Jack Marshall's not even funny.
But wait, there's more. The Trencher Infantry Rifle Grenadier, which is the weapon attachment for the trenchers. In this one, they have all that other nonsense. They've got the dig in, they got the smoke bombs. Then they have the rifle shot, which gives them essentially the gun that the regular guys have, right? POW 11.
Yeah.
Or
it's a standard military rifle.
Or they can launch an AOE 3 POW 10. And the blast damage caused by this weapon is a POW 10. It's not a normal blast damage. It's just everybody gets fucked.
Yep.
We have that a lot in Cygnar. And, well, it's not just Cygnar. That's just much more common now. And I think it's had a pretty significant impact on the game. I like it.
Yep. So there you go. I'm tired of talking about that guy. Trencher Chain Gun Crew. This is... they're light infantry, not light artillery, I guess. And or is it? No, it's a weapon crew. Never mind.
It's a weapon crew. Yeah,
it's a weapon crew. So you can put 3 of these,
Mobile
right?
artillery.
Yep.
So advanced deployment, officer, tough, dig in, man-sized, because we needed more of that in the game. This model is treated as a man-sized needs to be eliminated from this game. 100%. The book needs to be gone. With it, it just needs to be a large base. It's a large base, dumbass.
Well, yeah, volume is a weird aspect of this game that I think it's a conceptual holdover from Games Workshop True Line of Sight that it just needs to die.
Yeah, it's confusing. Of all the things that they said they wanted to streamline, get rid of man-sized as a rule. Mobile artillery, so yeah, it gets movement for grunts. Take up. Chain gun is rate of fire D3+1. And it can put down covering fire templates?
Yeah, that's why you take it. You don't take it for the POW 10s. If you wanted POW 10s, you would take more trenchers and get POW 11s with a whole bunch of other awesome stuff.
So because the smoke wall wasn't enough, let's put out 3 let's put out D3+. No, we have to put out 3 because there's 3 chain guns. Three covering fire templates.
You only put out one covering fire
Yeah.
per chain gun.
Yep. And then the grunt, let's see here. While on base with the gunner's range damage rolls against warrior models are boosted. This is just dumb. This is like reading a nightmare.
I mean, honestly, you really wouldn't even need the boosted damage rolls against most troops to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, but it also guarantees that you're just going to smash those troopers to bits.
But against a shield wall unit?
Correct. And that's where it would be a good issue.
Yep.
Yeah, but anything that I know there's more versatility in this because of the covering fire, but anything that I'm going to want boosted POW 10s on, I can get different utility out of taking Tempest Blazers. I can get more, on average, more shots for just as much damage out of Black 13th. I mean, granted, there's a point cost difference there. I just haven't found much of a use for chain guns unless I want as many covering fire templates as possible.
So just remember, those of you out there who look at this and going, "Wow, that's dumb." Yeah, they don't even want this. This is like throwaway bullshit for them. So more reason to hate Cygnar.
No, we need trenchers with more lightning.
Yeah, Trencher Commandos.
Trencher Storm Knights.
Yeah, we're coming. Trencher Commandos. This is
underrated.
Filling the 7.5 gap from old Mark II. We have advanced deployment, pathfinder, stealth, tough, anatomical precision, bullshit, more bullshit after that.
We'll never get there to stab you, but we'll try.
Yeah, exactly. So they have a grenade attack that they can if they want, or they can shoot 10 inches at a POW 10, and they have a trench knife. So
slap, snipe, or deadeye on them with those grenades. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, you got shield wall models? I don't give a fuck. Anatomical precision.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, as a K-Door player that likes to strike off too, get to armor 23, I'm like, shit. Because these guys just run up and just beat the shit out of me. I mean, they're going to hit me with a MAT 7. They're going to hit almost anything.
Yeah. Trencher Commandos really are built to deal with K-Door and Menoth.
Yeah, the back when I was playing Protectorate, my answer for Iron Fangs were Daughters of the Flame. Because they would just rip through Iron Fangs like they weren't even there. Now, these guys kind of do a very similar type of thing, but there's fucking 10 of them.
Yeah, and advanced deploy and speed 6, super legit.
But what the Trencher Commandos need is a scattergunner. And so,
yeah, of course.
So what they have here is a weapon attachment that adds a scattergun to the mix. It is a Rat 6 scattergun. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about the haves and have-nots in this game. This is the only Rat 6 scattergun in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's bullshit is what it is.
They have Commando in their name. They're very highly trained, John.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm getting salty because I can't... My cleansers can't be Rat 5. They have to be Rat 5, I mean. They can't get Rat 6. They have to be an officer to get Rat 6. No. Anyway, fuck these guys in the mouth. I'm getting saltier as we go through this. I can't believe it.
It's okay. Just wait till we get to the new stuff, John.
Okay, Trencher
and
Cannon
here
crew.
we are at the new stuff.
Okay, Trencher Cannon crew. Well, now the Cannon crew can advance deploy with the rest of the stupidity.
Yeah, that's all they got.
Yeah, what's enough? Range 13. So we're standing on the, let's see, if we go first, we're standing at 13, and we're reaching out 13. That's 26 inches, so we're reaching out at the beginning of it over halfway across the table. It is dug in, it's man size, it's mobile, once again, getting rid of this stupid rule. Mobile artillery, take up. It's got brutal damage. Jesus. So even the blast damage gets brutal damage.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
No, it's only against a target directly hit.
The issue with playing the cannon is speed.
Mm-hmm.
That was always the issue with it. Giving it AD allows it to actually get into position and maybe be used once a game before someone absolutely destroys it.
I'm okay with that. I will allow that. So then we have the Trencher Master Gun. You're right. You know what, DVK? You're right. This is literally a 70-point unit.
Oh, just wait. When people say trencher boat, they used to be referring to a max unit of trenchers with the unit attachment, and then also the 3 weapon attachments for the Grenadiers. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's the trencher boat. No, now the trencher boat is a min unit of trenchers, maybe with the UA, and then like 8, 9, 10 solos.
Jesus.
Or weapon teams.
Trencher Master Gunner, which allows for artillerist. Is this one you're going to see on a regular basis, do you think, DVK?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not certain. I used it a lot in Mark II. A lot in Mark II. But at that time, it had an ability where, it allowed essentially artillerist. But I would use it on all sorts of things, like Black 13th, Ryan, her 4-inch AoE. I would use the Master Gunner on that. Just ridiculous stuff like that. So since that changed, since Black 13th and some other things changed, I haven't used it very much.
Yeah.
But I can, between artillerist and then high angle fire, I can see this being very useful in the trencher theme with things like the Canon or Grenadier for artillerist.
I was going to say that 4 points for a Grenadier attachment seems like a lot of points.
It does, but also look at the rest of the stats for the Master Gunner. For example, he's another guy with a scattergun, who's at Rat 6.
Mm-hmm.
He is yet another guy with a trench knife, and he also has things like battery fire, which you really should take a look at.
Is there a reason that the trench knife isn't showing anatomical precision on this? Because I thought trench knives were anatomical precision weapons. Is that not the case?
Probably not.
Hang on, let's go back.
It may be an error. It also might be a matter of it being a special rule that we always see on guys with trench knives.
Okay, trencher commandos have trench knives and are anatomical precision. Let's go back to a regular trencher.
There's a bayonet.
Hang on here, buddy. So trencher infantry have bayonets, do not have trench knives, and do not have... I wonder if that's a typo, because...
It might be an oversight.
So, anyway. So let's go back to where we were.
Are we moving on?
No. Keep on, DVK. I mean, do you have more to say on the Trencher Master Gunner?
No, I was just gonna look him up quickly because I have it right here. Trencher Master Gunner.
Oh, Crimson 1919. I think Strakov has a trench knife, but no anatomical precision.
Yeah, no anatomical precision in War Room either.
Okay,
so probably not an error.
No, it's probably just more a function of the training of the model, and less.
Yeah.
One thing we need to talk a little bit about before the end of the podcast is the Tide of Iron miniatures game that's going to be coming out. We need to talk a little bit about that because I'm reasonably excited about that.
Same.
Because anything that gives me a War Machine Hordes experience that doesn't take fucking 4 hours, I'm pretty all in on. So, my last game of War Machine Hordes took 4 hours, and honestly, I don't like this game that much.
So anyway, Company of Iron, if you'll scroll down, you'll see who I'm going to try to take in every one of those games.
Captain Maxwell Finn?
Yeah.
Who wasn't broke-ass enough as it stood before it. That guy is amazing. I even owned Maxwell Finn.
RN Jesus himself.
I know, right?
He's amazing.
He's stupid.
So, advanced... So, or as we like to call him, perhaps, Gerlach Maxwell Finn. So...
I think what happened is when they were adding him to War Room, they clicked the Add All Features button, and a couple of them glitched out, but most of them stuck.
Yep. Advanced Deploy, Assault, Pathfinder, Stealth, Tough, Killing Spree. Fuck him. Rapid Strike. Jesus, he gets to restart it. Oh my god, he gets to restart it. Gerlach doesn't even get to restart it. Reposition 3. Jesus, veteran leader
And
trencher.
don't forget veteran leader, in case you needed any other reason to take him.
Yeah, Matt 7, Matt 8.
God, I hate Cygnar so hard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Also, weapon master trench knife with grievous wounds.
Uh-huh.
Grievous wounds, if I remember right, is fuck you trench, right? Tough, right? Yeah, that's great. Yeah, fuck you tough.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at all those dead trolls.
Yeah, he's not arm 14 from the armor. He's arm 14 from all the troll scalps.
Exactly. He's like wearing skin all over his body. God, I hate.
Well, that's
Cygnar.
a new modeling idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like target numero uno anytime I see him on the board because he just
And he
walks
should
through
be.
models. He will take down a unit by himself if you don't space out properly.
Matt
Well,
8.
another thing to keep in mind is he does also have 8 boxes.
So, he's strictly better than Slaughterborn.
I want to take him instead of a Warcaster sometimes.
Are there any good damage buffs in Cygnar that do they have like Storm Rager or anything fun like that? Because that would turn
Not
this
like
guy
that.
into. Because that would turn him into an unkillable murder machine.
Well, charge with him on Maddox's feet turn.
Oh yeah, because Maddox has
See
the
what
plus
happens.
3 strength, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you have any way to hand out reach? No, not in War Machine. That's a horde thing. So, yeah, fuck him running. He is
Jake's Warcaster version would give him reach, I believe.
What about lightning tendrils off of? Is there a
Yes.
Nemo? Doesn't
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, dear God, have mercy. So kill. For those of you who are not playing Cygnar, kill this fucker fast.
Every time you see him. Every single time.
Now, this is my vote for most improved model in the entire faction.
Yes, Triumph the Insult Comic, Jack.
Honest to God, this is what Triumph always should have been. I am 100% in alignment with everything on this change. I
He's
loved
super good.
I loved Triumph from day one. I did a conversion on Triumph,
I
and
wanted to love him.
everybody wanted to love him. He was completely unlovable. This is
Yeah.
the Jack he always should have been. He is a fucking monster.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
super
Mark
good.
III Triumph is beautiful.
Oh, this is awesome.
Especially that Bond to Siege.
Yep. It puts him on par with like the Hand of Judgment and some of the other Jacks that we've seen come out recently. It really does put him on par. Point cost 18 inches. I think that is a fair number, given how good his gun is. And
Rat.
yeah, Rat 7. The boosted Rat 7s, the fact that he can dual attack all the time is I think appropriate. True Sight without having to sack his movement
Yes.
is how it always should have been. He's not an artillery piece, people. He's a Jack.
There's a magic scope on his gun.
Yes, allow him to use
You
it,
can't
please.
raise it to eye level. How do you think it's being used? Automatically.
Yes. So, and the thing I think is, I think Shield Guard's getting a little out of hand in this game, to be honest.
So you played
They have
Convergence
to.
recently.
No, I played Resnick 2 recently, and it was dumb. And I was playing Helena, which is the same problem. It's all her Jacks are frickin' Shield Guards from the theme, and it was dumb. A Shield Guard's getting to be like, well, fuck, I don't get to do anything. But
Yep.
I think Triumph having Shield Guard is appropriate. I really do. And having
For his point cost, when you look at his point cost compared to taking a Defender
Yep.
and a Sentinel, there's no reason not to take Triumph instead.
Yeah, he is correct. No, I think that Triumph is correct.
He's solid. He's a good solid caster. Or
Caster, yeah, that too.
Let's do this. Or Siege riding Triumph. Siege 3.
Oh, I'm okay with that. I'm actually more okay with that than Siege 2 with his little fucking
You don't like Terminator Armor Siege?
No, I don't
League
like.
of Legends
I don't.
Siege?
I don't like Terminator armor that is also. God, what the hell is that other game? Overwatch. I see him standing next to his turret, banging it with a wrench. You know.
Yeah. Well, I like that they're bringing in more elements that people are familiar with from real-time strategy games.
Can only be good marketing. Did I just say Privateer did good marketing? Wow, I must be drunk. So Captain Jonas
Hey,
Murdoch.
before you said the point cost was 18 inches, I was wondering where you were going with that.
Well, he's going to dick you from across the table.
Yeah, you will.
Captain Jonas Murdoch. I always loved this model. I always thought it was really, really cool, and I thought it brought a lot of.
The model's beautiful.
He brings a lot of dynamic play into the faction too. I always liked Murdoch because it allowed you to bring in some pretty cool stuff and put your faction buffs on it. So,
I
Miss
I
Hunters?
miss
yes.
yeah. Oh, absolutely nuts hunters. I miss in Mark II using Murdoch to make the unit count as trenchers.
Yeah, because then you put Finn on him and all hell broke loose. Yeah, that was
exactly.
that was
That's
some
not the
strong
case anymore.
bullshit
Now it's
right there.
specifically he's a trencher.
Yeah, there was some strong bullshit right there. So he's a trencher. He's a ranking officer. He's granted assault. He's got go to ground, and he brings in a mercenary group, which there's a lot of. I mean, Nis Hunters are a logical choice. Hammer Dwarves are a logical choice. There's some interesting
Boom
stuff.
howlers.
Yeah, boomies. God, I miss boomies being good.
Yep.
I really do. I miss boomies being good. Maybe someday
Same.
again. So before we move on, real quickly, for any of you who hate this game, wait. The game will get good for you again. They have proven this time and time again. If you hate the game, they will make that game good for you again. It just might take a little while. And in the meantime, feel free to explore other options. It's going to come back. Don't worry. I mean, Protectorate used to be just terrible. And now they're awesome. It's super fun. So
I don't know how that feels. I've played Cygnar the whole time.
So just like awesome all the time. So go flip a table. Colonel Marcus, Siege Brisbane. This is Brisbane 2, otherwise known as Torbjorn or whatever the Overwatch character is. I think he's pretty cool. I mean, Fury's one of my all-time favorite spells. Hallowed Avenger is never a spell that I've been able to get necessarily to work terribly well, but I think that Hallowed Avenger with maybe Triumph or maybe Brickhouse or somebody like that might be kind of fun. The Razor Wall, that came out of Convergence, didn't it?
I believe that was Convergence had it. Access had it once.
Yeah, I think so. Unstoppable Force ripped straight out of the dwarves because they can't have nice things.
Yeah.
But that gives Bulldoze to his battle group. I hear that's good.
That's
What?
going to be amazing.
And
that's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to see so many jacks that we just haven't seen in Mark III on the table. I can't wait to bring Centurions back into my list.
Oh, Centurions are the most annoying piece of shit models in history. And just fuck Centurions. They are so hard to remove off the table. They are totally not worth the effort. Please, if you love painting with Menoth, John, leave your Centurions at home.
I mean, it's actually really, really pertinent spell coming with 2017 coming up, because the ability to push everybody out of the zones and score those 3 points or 2 points and get ahead is going to be very important on winning on control points.
Yep. I love Ground Zero on him. I think this is a very flavorful set of spells for him as a character. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Siege.
Yeah.
And having his little rocket buddy is super cool, and having him put Minuteman rockets on his back and stuff. A Warcaster with Leap is sort of hilarious.
Yes.
Minuteman of War Brisbane.
Yep. Minuteman of War
so
Brisbane.
Good.
I'm not buying back into the faction, but there you go. Then he's got his rocket turret. Circular Vision, cuz. Companion, of course, created. Pack It Up.
He is my third favorite new buddy.
Yeah. Sentry Fire. Once per turn, the enemy model advances and ends within 8 inches. Boom. Coming at you.
Yeah,
So-
for those of you who've been playing mini war games for a while, I welcome the return of Overwatch from Second Dad 40K.
I know, right? I know, right? If only his rat was a little worse, because now instead of needing a 6 to hit, you just have to have a 6 rat. Because Automaton that jumps out of Siege's ass is as good as, is better than a cleanser at hitting things.
Better than.
Just going to put that out there.
I just can't wait to like place it near a zone or objective and watch my opponent try to take their sneaky but squishy unit and like move it through a terrain feature,
No.
and they just pop out and get faced with this sucker.
Nope. Then we've got the Patrol Pooch.
My second favorite new buddy.
The one that made the entire internet freak out and blitz.
Why does
So
he have a leadership
adorable.
trencher?
Why does he what?
Why does he have a leadership trencher? The dog provides
Listen.
leadership?
Yeah.
If there's a dog, I don't care what is supposed to be around his neck. If there is a dog with a little mini cask of whiskey, you're going to listen to where he's going. You're going to pay attention to where he's going.
Ugh. Advanced deployment, of course. Pathfinder, tough, annoyance, which it never comes up. Dodge, he can. So you miss him and he moves. He's a 14. Foxhole buddy, aw. And then
Which is awesome.
noisy. So enemy models lose stealth
And
within
I like
5
that
inches.
change.
What was it? What did it used to be?
8 inches.
Oh, yeah.
It
fuck
used
that.
to be always on. It wasn't an ability.
Yeah.
It was just when he's near, they don't have stealth.
Okay, this is much better. This is way toned down from that, because that just used to be a bubble of stupid. Because he's range, speed 7. You had this
He
thing
was
clearing
6, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's 12-inch, and then he'd project an 8-inch bubble of "go fuck yourself." No, that's not okay.
I do like that he gives trenchers dodge. That's what the leadership is.
Sure, you.
I also like that he is a trencher, so he can reload grenadiers. So instead of changing whatever it is around his neck into a little whiskey barrel, I'm kind of interested in changing that to one of the grenadiers' artillery shells.
Now, I've seen Australian Shepherds, which are arguably the smartest dog on this planet. There's no way that an Australian Shepherd is reloading a Warjack. That doesn't work. Like, there's no opposable thumbs. The dew claws do not count as thumbs. That is not happening. They are not going and then go like that, and then up comes a shell into the auto-loading system. No, that's not how it works. Will, fix this.
I also like how he has tough.
Yes.
Well, yeah, dogs can be pretty badass, though.
Dogs are surprisingly hardy animals.
So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail because my city's a wasteland of morality. And some guy was abusing his animal. And I felt like going down and adopting this dog for what it had been through, just to give it a wonderful rest of its life. But dogs are tough. And dogs are awesome. And if you have ever even struck your dog, just turn off my show and just never come back. Anyway, because dogs are awesome.
So short story long, I have some friends that live on a farm, and they had one dog that was stepped on by a Belgian draft horse.
Oh.
Dog turned out fine. It broke every rib on one side of its body. A-OK in 6 weeks. Another dog
badass.
that decided it would be a good idea to jump into a combine when it was running.
Oh, dear God.
Lost all the skin on one side of its body. 2 months, was growing hair again perfectly fine.
Dogs are amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from this silliness. Will,
All right.
fix this. The Trencher Express team. Okay, so I haven't looked at
this
this
is
a
my
lot.
favorite new buddy.
God. So it's a weapon crew unit. It is it's got a spotter and a gunner. It's how many people? It's two. Okay.
Traditional sniper team.
Cautious advance. That's fine. Dig in. Tough dig in. It's Trollkin. The gunner's a Trollkin.
Because that's the only thing that can hold the gun.
Okay. The weapon, the Ravenhand Express gun.
Named after big British game rifles that
Okay.
fire rounds the size of marital aids.
Dear God.
This is amazing.
So this is the Dongulator.
Yeah, dude, it hits with almost the power of a heavy warjack cannon. I don't even care if this unit is good. I am American, and I want that.
And it's got grievous wounds on the gun.
Yes,
Yep.
which I have a big problem with that.
And
And
it's
Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt. Wow. And it's 5 points FA2. Wow. And it doesn't have AD at least yet.
Now,
So
I
this
also
is
point out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so this is essentially a more powerful non-AoE version of Hernan-John?
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah, but it is only single target. But yeah, it's pretty much Hernan John with the ability to stop a shit ton of stuff.
Well, this is better than Hernan-John. I mean, the fact that it can thunderbolt a heavy warjack, and with two of them, you could push a K-Door heavy warjack back. What? It's D3 inches, potentially 6 inches, for the cost of
And
10 points. Go ahead.
grievous wound. Oh, let me hit Imperatus real quick. Oh, I hit Imperatus, didn't do any damage. Fine. Now I'll destroy it. You don't get to come back.
You turned off the Phoenix Protocol.
Yeah. I have a problem with grievous wounds being on range weapons of just hit. I think grievous wounds should be able to do damage before they do that, but I have a problem with grievous wounds on
That's
ranged
fair.
weapons.
I'm willing to
That makes sense.
bet that this will go from grievous wounds during the CID to takedown, where you just don't tough.
That also would make sense.
But we'll
Yeah.
see.
Because really, that's what it's going for. It's going for that stopping power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to note that, I think it's interesting that in Cygnar we're seeing
wait.
more solos and units like this.
Yeah.
Those low number of attacks, long range, 4 to 5 points, like the Arcane Tempest Rifleman and the Gun Mage Captain Adept. I really like that.
Yep. Let's keep moving, boys. We got 7 more pages to go through. Plus, we need to talk about movies.
Oh, jeez.
Trencher Commando Officer. This is this is unchanged, correct?
This is new. They don't have a command attachment currently.
So, I mean, I'll be very honest with you. To make all this work, you've got to be pretty aware of everything that your fucking army does. This is a high skill cap way of playing War Machine and Hordes.
Yep.
There's going to be so much crap that you're not going to remember. But, of course, it's also got a hell of a shock factor to your opponent. Your model has what?
Your unit does what?
Well, just look at the Trencher Commandos with the officer. You pair that with someone with snipe, or let's say you play Haley 1 and you have temporal barrier. You can move in, knife someone, use mission objective to make sure you hit, quick work, and then reposition. So you can knife a unit, grenade a unit, and retreat. And if you're using temporal barrier or snipe, you might even reposition out of charge and shooting range because they have stealth.
God, they have stealth. Okay. Dear PP, let's get this fire theme for Protectorate sooner than later. Trencher Mechanics. Trencher Mechanics.
No dig.
Let's see. Dig in, repair. And there are 3 models.
Yeah, they're unnecessary, but I like it.
So
It allows you to take mechanics in the trencher theme. I think that's why they added them.
Mhm.
yeah.
I agree.
Okay. and trencher long gunners. So range 14, POW 10, trencher knife. They have dual shot. So how is this different than an expensive regular long gunners? Other than there's no AD. They're tough.
There's no AD. They have tough. They don't have trained fire or flawless maneuvers. Even with the officer. The officer is really where you get to where these guys start shining.
Okay, let's bring up the officer here real quick.
He's a couple down.
Warcaster Lieutenant.
Yep.
Trencher
Yeah, I think the
Warcaster.
Louis is really cool.
So
Another.
I can't wait to see the model.
So fire. They have. So Warcaster Lieutenant. So it's another junior. No, it's just a
Yep.
solo.
But
No,
he has
it's a
all
junior.
of the Journeyman Warcaster rules. So
Okay.
Battle Group Commander, Focus, Manipulation, Power Field Spellcaster has to have a Warjack in his battle group.
Yep. Okay, I was just gonna ask that. Does he have to have one? So
Yeah.
you put a Grenadier on this guy, and he gets +2 range, and that's pretty good.
Or you stick a Charger on him.
Yeah, Charger is good. Let's see.
Yeah, I think if people take him, we're going to see Rift cast a lot more when it's not wasting focus off a Warcaster.
Yeah, true that.
That's what I hope.
And especially if you have against an opponent that doesn't have a good answer for rough terrain, like a Protectorate opponent or somebody like that, unless they're playing him on. Man, this is going to be a weird army to play against.
It's going to be difficult, both to play and to play against. And here we have Commander Henry Hitch Hornbeck.
Okay. So we have a Trencher solo. He's a Jack Marshall, tough battle. He has battle plans. Press the
That are
advantage.
so good.
Okay, walk me through them, DVK.
All right. So he used to just have reposition instead of press the advantage.
Mhm.
So it's a little better. Used to be just reposition 2. So, you smoke grenade, use press the advantage, and then you move out of the smoke, and suddenly you can't be shot at.
Yep.
Now they make you work for it. You have to use Swift Hunter.
Okay, got it.
Target priority is fantastic because it gives you combined arms, where if you missed your CRA, you can re-roll, which is going to be amazing on those trencher long gunners.
Yeah. Okay.
Then tenacity, which gives them feigned death, where it's just they can't be targeted once they're knocked down. So once you pass your tough roll,
You don't get to target 'em
pretty
again.
much good to go unless someone wants to charge you.
Yep.
And then tactician trencher, where they ignore line of sight for friendly trenchers.
They stand
and
behind.
pass through.
They stand behind the trencher whatevers and fire through them.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, he seems pretty good.
I just want to point out that this model is a trencher named Hitch with a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with a mustache wrote an NPC in Beer PG named Hitch, who's a former trencher.
Holy shit! This is Hitch.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually a shout out or not, but if it is, I'm gonna need a change of pants.
No shit. I mean, I've been in those episodes with Hitch, and this is Hitch. Holy shit balls. Okay, well, they better come correct and give you credit.
Hey, I'm just happy he's there.
Trencher
So,
Blockhouse,
yes.
which is the, let's see, this is Hellmouth for Cygnar.
Sort of.
A little different.
Okay, walk me through it.
14 points, John. 14 points. So
Okay.
cheap.
Yeah.
So on this, construct, forward deployment, yada yada, girded.
It's a huge base.
Yeah.
Holy
It's-
shit balls. That's got battle engine
It is.
damage boxes.
It's essentially a cheap battle engine that doesn't move.
Okay.
And ours happens to be able to attack. So the big thing is reinforcements during your maintenance phase. Return D3 small base friendly trencher grunts to play.
Okay.
So if you keep units near it, you're going to be able to continually replenish them. Also, trench network, after you put down the blockhouse, you get to take 3 trench terrain templates and place them down connected to each other.
Oh my God, this is an Aegis defense line. This is an Aegis defense line.
But better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It even has a couple weapons. It has a heavy cannon with Quake. And it has 2 military rifles, basically as guys inside shoot out of windows.
Are they going to sell a lot of these?
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, those trencher long gunners, they're always going to be rubbing their butts on this masterpiece of brutalist architecture. They're going to be shooting the defenders out of my opponent's zone from the safety of a trench, and I'll be replacing models every turn unless my opponent wipes the unit in 1 turn.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a scary piece of thing. The ability to put the trench down is super, super powerful.
Wow.
The interesting thing about this is all the trencher models that they're putting out, especially the solos and then the blockhouse, it allows you to take warcasters that are not trencher friendly and still do really well with it. You know, like, I don't need to worry about taking Siege or other guys that can drop, cast spells or that drop, I don't need to worry about Foxhole because I have everyone that digs in. You know, I don't need to worry about being able to place trenches down because I have the blockhouse, which does it for me. I can play whatever caster I want that synergizes with these rules.
So essentially, when you put one of these things out and you put you start putting the trench network out in front of it, you basically more or less all of your AD trenchers are in the trench. So all your trenchers have shown up to the party, and instead of 13-13, they're showing up 17-13s. Immune to blast damage unless the blast happens inside the trench. Wow. Yeah, that's
you can
cool.
also trail those trenches forward directly into a zone and just march your trenchers right through it.
Yep. Let's move on to the trencher long gunner officer. I don't think we need to dwell on that a whole lot. Besides, we got 10 minutes left in the show. Trencher long gunner officer.
Yep. So the key points of this is that you, compared to normal long gunners, you are trading trained fire and flawless maneuvers for precision fire and marksman, which is amazing. So precision fire, the unit gets to re-roll damage rolls.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge for a unit that we're already using for CRA. And for tactics marksman, you get to choose the column or branch for Warjacks and Warbeasts. It's finally turning a unit with a long gun into the Warjack and Warbeast killing machines we keep trying to turn long gunners into. You put target priority on there from Hitch.
Yep.
And you're golden.
Well, I mean, you know, I've been reading all the stuff about how crazy this CID was for trenchers and for Cygnar, and now I kind of get it. And I didn't quite get it from just looking at it before. And DVK, I think you've done an amazing job kind of walking us through all the craziness that this is. I mean, I think that it is amazingly powerful, but I think amazingly complicated to make work as a machine together. But at the highest level of this game, I don't know how you beat this. Because if you
This is the Striker 3 theme force of Mark III. What Striker 3's theme force in Mark II was, with all of the synergy and how difficult where you had to be very precise in your movements to keep all of the benefits and working at once. That's what this is.
Yeah. It's... Any final thoughts on this before we head over to movies, Gonzo?
I'm actually really thrilled about it. It adds a new depth to the game. It's a new change to the game. People are going to have to be careful about their solos, because even though they got all these really cool solos, you take out that one solo, it stops all the extra benefits.
It seems like a thing you're going to have to really tie. It's going to make them into very much an untie the knot kind of faction.
Yeah, I'm looking to see how it works. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm sure, like I said, right at the beginning of the CID, so it could be changed a lot to different things.
Yep. So cool, guys. Let's switch over to the media section as we are wont to do on this show, and let's talk about some movies and stuff. I finished. I'll start. I'm going to kick it off tonight with. I finished the space battleship Yamato. Finally, the live action, and it was everything I hoped it would be. It was super good. It was a great live action reimagining of the first series of Space Battleship Yamato. Very Japanese in its ending, as one might expect, and really, really liked it. We only have like 10 minutes or so here, so we're probably going to rapid fire this a little bit more than we normally do. I'm going to give it 2 shots of Kraken, because I think there's a couple places in the movie where it's like, for fuck's sakes, just move on. That you'll start yelling at the screen. But good action, really good special effects. Highly recommend it. It's on the Funimation streaming service, which I got because I thought Shin Godzilla was going to be available, but that won't be available until August. But until then, there's some high-quality fan service to be watched, and I'm the guy to do it. So, Gonzo, what do you got for us for a movie?
I did go see Wonder Woman today.
Oh,
Thoroughly enjoyed
awesome.
it. I can see where some people are saying, okay, this is kind of a little overdone, a little bit, heavy-handed. But I enjoyed it very much. Favorite scene is the No Man's Zone, I think is what it was called.
Whatever.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
I'm sorry those people are so insecure in their masculinity that they can't bear to watch a strong female kick ass on the screen.
I mean, there was a couple of times I kind of looked down and says, this movie's going a little long. But I mean, it wasn't bad. But the No Man's Zone scene was incredible. I thought that was great. I had great action, really good fight scenes. Really loved a lot. So probably maybe 1 shot of Kraken.
Yeah, why not? Because everything's better with a shot of Kraken, right?
Yeah, and it's just so you could just chill.
Yeah.
But I did watch 2 episodes of MST 3K.
Yeah, which one?
It was the Magic Kingdom one.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Part 1 and Part 2.
Man, I liked Part 1. I couldn't stand Part 2 because I wanted the characters from Part 1 back in the sequel, and there was like an entirely different movie.
Yeah, it was like, why did you even get that title?
Right.
I watched those while doing hobby hangout with some people.
Cool.
Whenever like people would jump in the hobby hangout, I'd pause that, but that was pretty much about it.
Cool.
You'd need quite a few shots of Kraken to get through that if it wasn't for the MS3K people.
That is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Any other ones there, buddy, or should we move on to DVK for right now?
That was pretty much it. I'll probably watch a bunch more since I got the weeks off coming up.
Nice. Dan, what about you?
All right, so recently, as a guilty pleasure, I went to go see King Arthur: Legend of the Sword in theaters. I was pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
It's not based on Arthurian legend directly as much as it's based on a graphic novel series, I'm told.
Very good.
Pretty much as soon as the movie started, my significant other started screaming silently. However, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The pacing was fantastic. There was never a moment that was dull, and I also never felt like I was rushed through it.
Sure.
And it avoided a lot of typical action hero tropes. Like, the main character didn't have a love interest, mainly because he's too busy trying to not die. Like, he hits on one character, she rebuffs him and makes him look like an idiot. That's it for the rest of the film.
Yes.
That's about it. It was just
good.
It was a solid action movie.
Literally no one is watching us on Facebook right now. I just want to point that out. So that's fine.
We did have 34 views.
No, I'm fine. Nate, listen, the Facebook thing is going to turn out to be probably where we end up by the time we're done with this. The YouTube thing may become a thing of the past simply because it auto-posts, and people just kind of get over there and watch it, which is super sweet and totally legit. I'm down with that. Whatever, as long as people are enjoying themselves and having fun time painting their shit and listening to us and having a chuckle or two and maybe bringing a bright spot to their day. That's all I give a damn about. Well, folks, I need you to pray for me. I need you to reach out to the computer right now, lay your hands upon the monitor in front of you, and pray for me because I'm going to fucking Augusta, Georgia tomorrow. It is going to be 1,000 degrees and 1,000 degrees % humidity. There are great people in Augusta. It is not to do with the people at all. It is everything to do with the environment. They have taken global warming, and it might be where it's coming from. It is super hot. It is super terrible. And when I get there, I'm trying to not put on weight. So, ugh. And all they have is super fatty food. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut the show 5 minutes early simply because I've got to go pee. And it turns out, since it's my show and I have to go pee bad enough, I'm not going to wet myself. So on behalf of... I'm going to get some music going here, though, first, before we do this.
Hello.
I want to thank Mr. Dan Vanderkoy for being a part of the show. You are now a member of the Brushhead family, and I hope that you will acquiesce to be a part of our shenanigans once again in the future.
Absolutely. Had a fantastic time. Thank you for bringing me on here.
Had a great time. Gonzo, of course, thank you very much for always being a part of the show. We love you. And we're going to be back next Sunday. Father's Day. I'm a father. Why not? And we're going to go ahead and Gonzo's saying he's not a father. He's a mother. And we're going to go ahead and we'll bring this silliness back to you next week here on the Painting with Menoth John show. I should probably put it back on the face cam here long enough to at least see the famous Glove and Boots broadcast studios here at Casa John. On behalf of Mr. Dan Vanderkoy and on behalf of Gonzo, our amazing co-host, and of course John Spencer, who couldn't be with us tonight, I am Menoth John. We'll see you back here next time on Painting with Menoth John. Be good or be good at it. And that's how we do an episode, bitches.
Does it burn when you pee?
Not as much as it used to, thanks to antibiotics.
Antibioticos. Thank you, modern science.